welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, bringing you information about your library and your community. This evening I have Stacy Peterson with me, and we're going to tell you about all the June events at Peoria Public Library. Hey, Stacy.
Hey, Tricia.
Had to stop you from singing and dancing because you've got so much exciting stuff.
I always think about the theme song when it starts, so I can hear it going in my mind and the scenes of the library, and I just get very excited.
Well, of course, summer reading's going on, but that's not all. We have got so many things going on for summer. So we're going to dig into June, and know there's more coming in July and August, but let's start with June because that's going to take a long time to talk about.
We have enough going on in June, I think, to fill our plates for a while. You're right. Summer reading, of course, is kind of the keystone of June, July, and August. And of course, it's open to everybody, but it's not the only thing going on.
Plenty more.
Plenty more. The one thing that goes on all month at the main library in our fabulous gallery space, we always like to talk about our gallery space. We have a gentleman named Daryl Wilson. He's a professional photographer. He is somebody who's done a lot of portraits in his time. He's been commissioned. He does landscapes. And he noticed one day that he wanted to photograph regular people, ordinary people, people from every day's kind of vignettes. So he started a little project on his own as a hobby called 365 People. And his goal was every single day was to photograph a different person from somewhere in the area and focus on their story, trying not to duplicate on stories. And we are going to have all 300, well, I need to back up. 364 of these pictures will be on display, with the 365th being exposed during the time that it's on exhibit in our gallery space. So by the time this opens on June 5th officially, then we will have all 365 portraits up for the month of June in the gallery space. Yeah, it's very exciting. Very exciting. Cool. So Mr. Wilson has also agreed to do a gallery walk for us. And I think in a project like this, if people can make it on the 12th at 2 o'clock, and discuss the people in the exhibits with the actual photographer, it will bring so much more breadth and meaning to the exhibit.
It always does.
It always does.
It always does.
There are a lot of stories that are untold in our area.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell you, Daryl knows all 365 of those. In conjunction with the Chow First Friday events, we are going to hold our reception for him on the first Friday of June from 3:30 till 5 p.m. in the gallery.
Oh, okay.
So the official time for the Chow Gallery hop is 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We wanted to make sure that people could make it to our art gallery, take a look at that. They'll be downtown, and then they can jump over to some of the other Chow locations and have a whole night full of art that first Friday of June.
That'll be nice. Lovely way to spend a June evening.
Lovely, and a free way to spend a June evening and to kick off summer. So the weather should be great. We invite everybody to come down, see the art, have some light refreshments, and start their weekend off with a real bang.
That's great. That's great. Okay.
Also, the month of we've got some returning things going on. So some things that we've had a lot of popularity with include our Music in the Mackenzie series.
Oh, yes, music. People are coming to rely on the library to be a great source for wonderful yet free music.
Wonderful yet free music. We were told by we had a group from Maryland called We're About Nine, and they performed in April, and they were so blown away by our audience. They pulled me aside and said, "This is a real listening audience." And I said, "Yeah, they're good. They want to hear you. They came here to hear you and appreciate you." So one Sunday out of the month, we bring in a nationally touring act. Usually people pay anywhere from $15 to $20 to see these people play in coffee houses and in clubs and for National Public Radio events, but we bring them for free and sell CDs. And this month we have somebody who I first saw 20 years ago. I know I don't look old enough to say that, but
you don't.
I know, it's hard to believe, but his name is Catfish Keith.
Okay.
Correspondence with Mr. Catfish has been very unusual because I didn't know how to address him. He does like to be called Catfish, and he is a one-man blues band from Iowa. He plays slide guitar. He has traveled internationally. He has probably 15 to 20 recordings under his belt. He's absolutely incredible. So if you want some honest, true blues music from a man who really has seen it all, Catfish Keith is your guy, the 26th of June in the
How
Mackenzie
perfect for
room.
June to have a catfish.
Right.
A musical catfish.
A musical catfish
That's
in
perfect.
June. So that should be fun. It starts at 2. Usually we do a couple of sets with a break in between.
Right.
And I encourage people, if they don't have the 2 hours time,
Yeah, drop in.
Drop
That's
in.
that's what makes these concerts so different, and why people are listening, because you're not drinking anything. You don't have coffee. You don't have a drink.
Right.
You're not being distracted by waiters and waitresses or people, doing whatever they do in bars and coffee houses. You're sitting, yet you're not in that formality of a big auditorium where you can't move, as if you were, in a theater setting or something. You can stand up. If you've got little ones, you can stand in the back. I've seen people get up and start dancing on the side.
Yeah.
If you've got half an hour, drop in, and drop back out, and nobody will care. But it's great, and it's just a wonderful room to hear music in.
it is a wonderful room. And I don't believe that was the intention when that building was built, to have such great acoustics.
Yeah.
But every act that comes in has told us how nice it is. They're very complimentary of it. Some of our regulars have even taken to bringing a lunch, and then they will either go outside and eat, because we do have that lovely little garden on the outside of the library, or they'll sit out in the entryway where we have some nice tall bistro tables where they can still hear the music, and they just make an afternoon of it. And during the break, you're seeing these relationships and friendships form with our patrons, and these are people that had never met before, and it's really fun. It's becoming like a monthly hootenanny with everybody. It really is a good time. We always encourage more people. It's a very welcoming group. So please come out and see Catfish Keith. The music is always family friendly, and we're exposing a lot of children to music that they may not be getting the opportunity to
because you
see.
ordinarily wouldn't take a child to a coffee house or a bar to hear
Exactly.
this kind of music, and they're getting to hear it.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
It's very cool.
Well, what else? Because that's not all.
Well, an offshoot of Music in the Mackenzie, when Music in the Mackenzie started to really gather steam, we decided that we'd do a kids group, a kids-friendly rock and roll kind of program. And this month, I'm really excited because the group that's coming is a band called Lake Effect. Lake Effect is from Michigan, and the central performer is a woman named Rachel Davis. Rachel Davis I saw in concert about 6 years ago, and just absolutely fell in love with her voice and her guitar playing. Her husband is not only her sound person and manager, but he also is her backup singer and backup guitar player. Well, since I've seen her, she's had a child and she's cut back on the touring. But Rachel grew up in a folk family. Both of her parents are music educators, and she grew up literally going from folk festival to bluegrass festival, and in the summers she would teach at Interlaken, and her family has been touring playing music for children for years. So I first booked Rachel for the November Music in the Mackenzie series, and then I said, while we were on the phone, I said, I recall you saying that you grew up playing music. Do you still do that? And she said, yeah, my family travels, but only in the summer. And I said, I've got a spot open in June. Would you bring your parents and play for us for Kids Rock? So Kids Rock is going to be very special. It's going to be a family affair. Rachel Davis is amazing. I can only imagine how incredible her parents are. I really, really encourage people to come out on June 15th. Kids Rock's always on a Saturdays. It's always at 1 o'clock. So the kids can come in. Usually they've got lunch in their belly, play for about an hour, and then a lot of times with our patrons, they run out and check out books and check out what's going on in the library.
Fits right in with summer reading, where
fits right
you come into these programs and it makes it easy to keep going with summer reading because you can grab your next week's book.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of kids, even at these performances, bring their own musical instruments. We clear plenty of room in the front because the kids dance with wild abandon.
Yes.
So they want to get in there and move and enjoy it. So anybody who's got kids or grandkids or little brothers and sisters, bring them on down. I mean, it really is as fun for the adults as it is for those kids. And Lake Effect is going to be a fantastic way to spend an hour at the library.
Oh, fun. Well, that sounds like a great one.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Another monthly event, but...
Another monthly event.
Okay.
So also, North Branch, again, following up on our May Mother's Day Film Festival. So in May, on Monday nights, we showed a series of mom-related films, including Steel Magnolias, and we tried to bust out of traditional roles. We did Baby Boom with Diane Keaton, which broke taboos of single motherhood and career, and Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton. So in June, you've got to celebrate the
Yeah.
fathers. So
Father's Day.
Father's Day. So we figured Monday nights we would do fabulous father films. And probably one of the best fabulous fathers is in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, yes.
So that's how we're kicking it off. A little Gregory Peck, first Monday of June. And then that's going to be followed by Three Men and a Baby, the American version. We've got three great fathers, followed by The Lion King. And then everybody loves this movie. I could not resist putting it in. I know we've seen it a million times, but Field of Dreams had to go in there. So Mondays are going to be devoted to dads. Bring families, bring a sack dinner, sitting back, just enjoy some of these movies on the big screen at North Branch.
That sounds great. It sounds like a lot of fun. So, all right. What else you got?
Well, let's see. At Lakeview, let's move over to Lakeview because we've got some things going off-site at our
Lakeview's
other
been open a little over a year now, which people still are like, are you open? I run into people all the time that say, did you ever open that downtown library again? Yes, we're open. All of our locations are open.
Yes.
Downtown's been open. Main Library's been open for 2 years now, as has North Branch. And Lakeview, the last one to open, has been open for a year.
Open for a year. Again, we can go to any of our branches. Almost any of our branches. You can go to a library branch every day of the week.
Yep.
Lakeview,
and
of course,
probably
you can
find
go on
something going
Thursday.
on.
Yeah. But Lakeview has that wonderful kind of grassy esplanade, and it is such a beloved central location. We've had a lot of popularity there with a YA, for those people who don't know, young adult book club. That's held with our colleague Carla Wilkinson runs that. And she is not a young adult. She is a young woman, an adult woman, but she really enjoys reading young adult books, and she's not alone. There are a lot of adults who love YA books.
Well, people go, YA, why would you read young adult books? But the thing is Harry Potter was young adult.
Yeah.
Everybody read those. Twilight, everybody read those. So it's more, you don't need to hide the cover.
Right.
Most of the young adult books are something that would appeal to any adult. And so that book club is specifically about reading and discussing that particular group of books. And like one of the new hot ones, there's already a movie being made, is Divergence.
Right. Filming in Chicago, if anybody wants to run up there and see some of that. Yeah. I'm constantly amazed. YA is not an area that I read a lot of before, but sharing space, office space with Carla, she's introduced me to a lot of books. And I'm constantly surprised, pleased by the challenging titles and the topics. They're provocative without being tasteless.
Right.
But they're very
That
topical.
may be why people like a lot of them, because they don't go as far. They don't go as far with sex, violence, so many of the things that you might just get tired of reading at some point. And so they have the same mysteries and they have violence, but it's not so graphic.
And they have serious topics, whether it's loss of family members or relationships that don't work out. And they really lend themselves to discussion and dialogue, and probably a little bit of nostalgia for the adults that read them. But in my day, if we wanted something like that, we would read Judy Blume books.
Yeah.
And while Judy Blume is certainly still good, some of the other YA authors,
some of the new authors are wonderful.
They've stepped up. And the author for June is Meg Cabot. Many people know Meg Cabot for maybe some of her more, I don't want to say juvenile, but some of her writings a little bit more for a younger set.
Yeah.
And she's transitioned into a YA author with wonderful topics. And since her fan base really started young, they've grown up with her. And the book Abandon will be featured. And Carla certainly is a huge Meg Cabot fan. She's met her, she's gone to signings with her, and I think it'll be a very spirited and exciting discussion.
Yeah,
so definitely very passionate. That'll be a good one. So that's
a good one to try, and new people are always welcome. Always. And if you didn't get all the way through the book, that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people say, oh, I can't go to the book club because I didn't finish the book. But you can.
Yeah, you can.
Read it and then, finish the book later.
I'm in a what we call a bad girl book club, and you don't have to read it. You can listen to it on audio if you want to, and if there's a movie, we'll even let it slide. We just want you to come and talk. So, Carla has a very same sensibility. Show up, talk, the more the merrier at that book club, at any of our book clubs, which are listed online.
Right.
Also at Lakeview, this is very exciting. We've never done this before. This is going to kick off summer. because in June we have the summer solstice, the first official day of summer, even though the pools will be open. But on the 21st, which is a Friday, we are going to do, and in my memory this has never been done, maybe in Peoria, a live butterfly release.
Oh, fun.
It's going to be in conjunction with a book called Waiting for Wings by Lois Ehlert, which is a whole story about butterflies. And we're going to have live monarch butterflies that have been raised and cultivated at a butterfly farm outside of Chicago. No butterflies have been harmed in this. This is a very ASPCA approved event, but they will be flown down to us the day of the event. The monarch butterflies come in little vellum envelopes, and since Lakeview has that wonderful expanse of grassiness, we're going to read the story in the story time room in the afternoon, and then go out, and we've got a limited supply, obviously, but those who come, hopefully we can get everybody to get a butterfly, and we'll release them after the story time.
That'll be fun.
So yeah, it'll be a nice celebration of summer is kind of what we're envisioning for that.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. So that's going to be at Lakeview on the 21st. I believe it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
So
yeah, because you got to have time for the monarchs to get there.
you do, and for me to transport them in my car. So I'm hoping that that's going to all be absolutely okay. Right.
Yeah.
The next day to celebrate summer at the Mackenzie Room. We're also going to do something we've never done before. We're partnering with the Peoria Poetry Club.
Oh.
Now, yeah, they've been around for a long time. They have a very active group of members. They do a lot of workshopping. They do a lot of reading of their own work and others. But they are going to host a summer poetry slam with us.
Oh, nice.
And for anybody who's interested in joining the poetry club, they're actually going to have their meeting right prior to the slam. The slam's going to start at 1. We're going to let them do some reading. We're inviting people to come and bring their own poems that they've either read or that they enjoy. We're going to have refreshments. Does not have to be summer themed. We're just excited about kicking off summer with poetry. I mean, it's just going to be a perfect event for that. So
that'll be
we
very
encourage
nice.
that too.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And of course, in April always is National Poetry Month. So it's nice that for once we're taking poetry out of those calendar bounds and getting some poetry out there.
Yeah.
Great thing to get your kids interested in too, because particularly a lot of teens find expression in poetry and then they lose that when they get a little older, but great introduction.
And so many of the teens lose interest in poetry, but then transition into music, and they don't always make that connection, and that's very much encouraged.
Yes.
And I know that workshopping your own writing can be very nerve-wracking and maybe intimidating, but George Tanner and the Peoria Poetry Club, they are a nice group of people. I mean, while I can't guarantee that nobody's feelings will be hurt, I can say with 99% assurance that nobody's feelings are going to get hurt. They're a great, supportive, encouraging group of writers. Yeah. So even if you feel like coming and experiencing and sitting back, that's okay too, whatever you're comfortable with. So come and enjoy some poetry at the North Branch for summer.
Great. What else we got?
Well, I know that Alice covered some of our summer reading activities.
Yeah, just the summer reading ones, but we do have. I'll give you your paper back.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got movies planned.
Oh,
so
all right.
Something that we did last year. Last year, our theme for summer reading was eating food.
Yeah.
So reading is so delicious was our theme.
Yeah.
So as a trial, I did Thursday movies that had a food theme, and they were always Thursdays at 1 o'clock. And it really started building. At the very last one, people were very upset that I wasn't continuing the movies. So I did sporadic movies on Thursdays, and then when summer reading came around and we had a travel theme, I thought, finally, I can do another movie series. We're going to do travel films, and so that's what we're going to do starting in June. So June, we've got 3 movies set on Thursdays, the second, third, and fourth Thursday in June, 1:30, Mackenzie Room. The first movie is going to be Cinema Paradiso. It's an Italian film.
Okay.
We always do subtitles because I like subtitles, and whether it's American or foreign, you're always going to get subtitles at my films. But this is a subtitled film. It's the story of a movie theater in a small Italian town and what happened with a young boy who was raised in this town. He was raised probably in the 50s, working at the side of the man who ran the film. And then this young boy grew up to become a very famous Italian movie maker. And he goes back to the town because his mentor passes away. And then he goes back and sees what happens to the movie theater. It's very touching. The music's by Ennio Morricone, so the music is excellent. I couldn't think of a better way to kick off this series. It's a beautiful film.
Travel to Italy. Yes.
It'll be a good one. The next week, we're going to travel to Tokyo, and we're going to go to Lost in Translation. If anybody saw this film, it's directed by Sofia Coppola, who is Francis Ford Coppola's daughter.
Yes.
She certainly has quite a variety of movies under her belt, but in this movie, she brought in Bill Murray. He's in kind of a non-traditional role with Scarlett Johansson. This movie does have some adult themes, and I like to make that known before we have some of those. But it's an excellent movie, and just to see Japan and the lights and the story and the interplay, there's some humor, there's some bittersweet moments. I thought Lost in Translation's got to be where it is. So then the next movie that we have is an American movie based on a classic. It's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which I think single-handedly resurrected the American roots music scene with George Clooney. And it's the same directors who did Raising Arizona and Big Lebowski. However, they took The Odyssey by Homer, and they translated it into a 1930s story about men making a break from jail and what happens. So whether you're familiar with the story of The Odyssey and you can see the interplay of some of those themes in this movie, or you've never read it and you don't care to read it and it sounds totally boring, you're going to enjoy it. So the music will have you moving. So Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Thursdays, 1:30 North Branch.
And traveling on film.
Traveling on film. And next month, we're going to have more foreign themed
we'll
films.
continue on through July and
But
August.
those are secret until the next TV show.
All right.
All right. I want to keep that under wraps. Very
quiet.
important.
But we have our ongoing things for little ones, too.
We do, but we also have a couple of other exciting things.
All right.
Snakes Alive.
Oh, my gosh.
Snakes Alive coming, and it's not as scary as it sounds, but we have a reptile expert coming on the 24th. He's so interesting. We're having him at 2 branches. So we're going to have him at the North Branch at 10:30 in the morning, and then we're going to have him at Lakeview at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
This gentleman is a herpetologist from southern Wisconsin. He travels with snakes, alligators, little gators, one in particular called Itty Bitty Gator. If anybody is on Facebook, Itty Bitty Gator has his own Facebook page.
We'll have to get him on our Facebook page so people can find him.
Yes, because he's a celebrity and he's a little bit of a diva.
All right.
However, Steve is a very interactive and very enthusiastic presenter. If you think that I get wired, Steve is like me times 10. And he brings in reptiles and animals, but he's so engaging, and the kids just go absolutely wild over this. And he is very agreeable about bringing the pets out and interacting with the lizards, with the audience. At the same time, he's very sensitive to the fact that some people are very uncomfortable with that, and he's respectful of that too. So we encourage.
He's not going to go, oh, go on, touch him.
Right.
Oh, go on, touch him.
No, he won't bite. No, he's not into
doesn't
building
do that
trauma. He's into engaging people and creating experiences. So definitely 6/24, June 24th. You can make
What
it
day
to
of the
both
week is
shows.
that?
I believe it's a Tuesday.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but I think
All
it's
right.
a Tuesday. Come out and see Steve. So yes, we also have our kids events.
It's a
It's
Monday.
packed. It's a Monday.
It's a
perfect.
Monday. We can always look at our notes.
Oh, good. You're right on my notes.
It's a Monday. Yes.
So yeah, we've got that Monday.
That'll be a
two shows.
great wrap up to June.
Did Alice talk about Barnyard Discoveries by any chance?
No, we did not talk about Barnyard. We only talked about
Summer reading.
kickoff and the summer reading party. So
Oh my gosh, we've
were
been
saving-
so busy. Oh good, I'm glad. I get to showcase all of the really exciting things that have
Yes.
kept us at our desk in the winter. And
Yes.
now we get to explore. We have Barnyard Discoveries. We have barnyard animals coming to the heart of Peoria.
that'll be fun because there's a lot of kids there's people who've never been up close to any kind of barnyard animal.
Right. They've never experienced feeding a goat and petting a cow. And Barnyard Discoveries, we're going to have them on the 11th. We're going to have them at Lakeview in the morning. Then we're going to take them down to Lincoln in the afternoon. We're going to give the animals a chance to take a break. But what this is it's an interactive zoo experience. The gentleman brings a semi-truck that's painted like a red barn with animals on it, and he basically parks it, opens it up, it's air conditioned. He has a variety of animals. He brings some of them outside, weather permitting. The beauty of this is if it rains, you can go inside the truck and experience it.
Doesn't matter because he's got a truck painted like a red barn.
Like a red barn, and it really is a discovery. He has done a wonderful job of creating a tie within food and animals and farms and making it educational and fun. The animals are beautiful. He will spend days there past his time that he said he'd be there because kids love to go out there and see these animals. And he knows full well that there are kids in Peoria that have never seen a cow up close, and they have questions about it. The only goats they know are those that eat tin cans on cartoons.
Yeah, or the ones in their computer video game that you click on and he makes a noise, or books.
Or books, you know. They'll get to see chickens, real chickens. So we encourage people to come out and see this, see how this ties together. And again, Lincoln has that wonderful green space. Lakeview has that great, green space. Come out and see those animals and see where your milk comes from and your eggs and your omelet. It's going to be a really fun way to spend some time.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. And we've kind of, over the years, had different, I remember taking a llama in the elevator to the auditorium at Maine. So we've kind of got this down with the animals, but this is a new one, the barnyard ones, and I think really good for kids to be able to see.
And we've had experience with the petting zoos in the past, and the petting zoos are good. They're interesting, they're somewhat interactive, but this organization ties it all together in such an interactive way.
A really good experience for living here in this part of the country and the things that we eat every day, and where does it come from? Not out of the can.
Not out of the can.
Stacy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
You're probably tired and need to go play in fall now. There is so much going on in June. It's one of our we have so many programs anyway, but June really takes off. And so you'll want to make sure that you pick up kid events or passages or get online on our calendar. You can do this from your phone, your tablet, see what's going on, drop by, plan that stop to pick up books when you can come to a program too, and get the most out of your Peoria Public Library. It's all free. It's always for all ages, and we're glad to have you. See you next week on Information Please.